So Donald Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, just appeared to give away the plan regarding his criminal cases if Trump were to be reelected again in 2024. So she was doing this Fox News interview, and she was asked about the cases against Donald Trump, specifically the criminal case against him where he was convicted of 34 felonies, and she just kind of openly said that he's going to make it go away. That he's just going to make the cases go away, not face any consequence for his actions, and then obviously go after his political opponents, which he has talked about and has been reported on pretty extensively. So, a very dictatorial answer, kind of playing into Donald Trump's goal of being a king, a dictator, and very concerning. This is what Trump plans to do day one if he is reelected, which is insane. So take a look at that clip of Alina Habba, and we'll talk about it a little bit.
This has to stop. I can tell you in November, I would push President Trump 100% to correct the judicial process and to stop this dual system of justice. It has to. We have to reverse it. The case was a joke to start with, just like every other case against President Trump.
Yeah, she just said we have to correct the system of justice, stop the cases, reverse the cases against Donald Trump. She's being pretty open about what the goal is here if Donald Trump wins. It's just stop the cases, reverse them, reverse the criminal conviction against him, reverse the civil fraud cases against him, reverse all of it. Just no more cases for Donald Trump, no accountability whatsoever, and he's just going to pardon himself regardless of the constitutional implications of that, even if it sends the country into a constitutional crisis. He doesn't care. Pardoning himself day one and quote-unquote reversing the cases, stopping them, stopping the judicial process. That's what she just said live on Fox News. That is the Trump campaign plan, a possible Trump administration plan if he were to be reelected. And this is something that we already have known about for quite some time. It's been reported that, Trump wants to pardon himself and that he's going to. And also historically, this has also been talked about. Take a look at this article from CNN in 2023. Trump says that he openly admitted, by the way, that he discussed pardoning himself, but dismissed the option. Do we really think that Donald Trump dismissed it? Not so sure. He gave this quote in this interview saying, and it's meandering nonsense, so try to bear with me for a second. He said, "I could have pardoned myself. Do you know what? I was given an option to pardon myself. I could have pardoned myself when I left. People said, would you like to pardon yourself? I had a couple of attorneys said that. You could do it if you want. I had some people that said it. It would look bad if you do it because I think it would look terrible. I said the last thing I would ever do is give myself a pardon." So, okay, first of all, that quote is incredibly hard to follow. It's just a bunch of nonsense, rambling incoherently as Trump does so often these days. But does anybody really believe that the narcissistic lunatic Donald Trump just outright denied giving himself a pardon? Do we really think that Donald Trump looked at his attorneys in the face and said, yeah, no, I'm not going to pardon myself? Keep in mind, this was apparently a couple of months after he, or at least during his presidency, where he incited an insurrection. All of his attorneys around him were telling him, hey, don't do this, don't deny the election results. And then he had some lunatic attorneys come in there and tell him what he wanted to hear, and he listened to them. So does anybody really believe that once the rational attorneys were in the office saying yeah, you shouldn't do this, he's like, yeah, I agree? I don't think so. I think Donald Trump cares only about himself. And if an attorney told him he could do it, he would do it. He would do it. But I imagine that the attorneys in the room told him something else, saying this is not possible. And then he's like, no, please let me do it. And they were like, you shouldn't do this. And then maybe he was eventually convinced, but I don't buy this. I don't buy any of that. And in addition to it already being discussed and being reported by multiple agencies that he wants to pardon himself if he were to win in 2024, he doesn't want to just do that. Reversing the process against him is not just eliminating the cases against him, but it's also creating cases against others. Take a look at this article on your screen from NBC News. Trump has previously suggested that if reelected, he would have President Biden indicted. He suggested this, and this is also something that's been privately talked about in the Trump campaign. This article says former President Donald Trump on Monday, this was written in early 2024, suggested that if he is reelected, he would have President Joe Biden indicted a day before an appeals court hears arguments on his claims that presidential immunity protects him. In a post to Truth Social, Trump said he plans to attend oral arguments on his presidential immunity case. This was a while ago, so this case is already up at the Supreme Court. They're taking their sweet time with it. But the article goes on to say that Trump then argued that if his attempts to avoid prosecution over his efforts to overturn the 2020 election are unsuccessful, Biden shouldn't be entitled to presidential immunity either, saying, if I don't get immunity, then Joe Biden doesn't get immunity, Trump wrote before criticizing the Biden administration. And I always find it funny when he says stuff like this because, like, yeah, that's kind of the point. If you don't get immunity, Joe Biden doesn't get immunity. No president, no politician gets immunity. If you break the law, you're held accountable, right? That's kind of the whole process of justice we have going on here, that nobody's above the law, equal treatment, kind of like the whole thing that we have going on here for a couple hundred years now. But, Trump doesn't believe that. Anyway, he goes on to say in this Truth Social post, Joe would be ripe for indictment if his case was denied. By weaponizing the DOJ against his political opponent, Joe has opened a giant Pandora box. As president, I was protecting our country and doing a great job. Wrong. Just look around at the complete mess that Joe Biden has caused. Wrong. The least I am entitled to is presidential immunity on fake Joe Biden indictments. So that's the plan. He's suggesting that he will indict Joe Biden. We have reports from internally, privately, that the campaign is discussing it. Donald Trump is also pardoning himself and has also confirmed that he's previously talked about doing so as well. So Alina Habba is being very clear here about what her goal is and what Donald Trump's goal is if Trump wins in 2024, which is that plan. Pardon himself, go after opponents. Stop the cases against him. No more cases, no more accountability, no more legal trouble for Donald Trump. They just want utter protection, complete protection, no accountability, and attacking people who haven't broken the law. The only law that Joe Biden and the Democrats have broken, in Donald Trump's mind, is holding him accountable. He thinks that that's the gravest sin ever. So he's gonna try to go after them, and probably many journalists as well. This is in line with Donald Trump's dictatorial dream. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to be a king. He wants to be an authoritarian. He wants to rule with an iron fist and be like Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin. That's what he wants. And even his lawyers are like, yeah, I'm going to suggest that he does that. Reverse the cases. Stop the cases. What a joke. What an embarrassment the Trump campaign is. What an embarrassment Trump and his lawyers are. Complete antithesis to the rule of law. And they want to tell us that Donald Trump is innocent or the cases are a joke, as Alina Habba called it. What an embarrassment. I think Alina Habba is just bitter that she's not a very good lawyer and she's failed every single time that she's tried to defend Donald Trump in court. Maybe there's some bitterness there. But anyway, I just wanted to bring your attention to this. Very concerning because they're not trying to hide it. They're being very open about their intentions to make the cases go away for Donald Trump. Make sure he faces no accountability. That's their goal. That's their plan. And we got to stop them at the ballot box this November. And I'm excited to do it with you. So anyway, I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes a really, really long way. Also drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about what Alina Habba said tonight. And of course, I appreciate you and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.